I ain't doing his dirty work no more. No.
Uh-oh.
No! It's the Colonel! Keep away!
Hey there, Nick for Trouble Planet here, and I just want to say, sorry. Starting off with an apology, because that clip may have been a little bit confusing or upsetting to you, in which case, I completely understand what the fuck was that all about. Because honestly, here in America, we don't give a whole lot of second thought to the old Kentucky colonel who made his fortune peddling fried chicken. For sure, we had a few things to further the brand a little bit, here and there. I mean, we had those Colonel Sanders piggy banks, and that album of Christmas music that he put out, sure, and what appears to be wild tracks from his family trip to Mexico, which just defies explanation. What the fuck was all that about? However, I was recently in Japan. I said I want my lawyer! And I can say with full confidence that the Japanese have the most confusing relationship with old Harlan Sanders. It's widely understood that there is no realm of God or man that advertising sycophants won't subvert for mammon's folly. Hell, they invented a holiday vaguely aimed at the notion of love as a pretense to make people pay for the privilege of eating sugared chalk. So when KFC opened its first store in Japan in 1970, it only took marketing goons 4 short years to notice the distinctly Santa Claus-shaped hole in their cultural fabric and start jamming it full of fried chicken. Fuck annual gift, man. Christmas wishes went to the Colonel. His image was practically ubiquitous to entire generations of Japanese kids, occasionally popping up to commentate on a ladies' wrestling match or host a quiz show, even serving as the referee for a boxing match between birds, which probably looks pretty bad given KFC's later reputation for animal abuse. In an episode of the anime Slayers, a villain dresses as the kindly old Caucasian to lure the protagonist into a trap with promises of a roast chicken, which probably isn't a metaphor for anything at all. Anyone who played these games or watched any of the shows where he appears instinctively knew that face from the statues that stood outside the stores. They greeted you with a plastic rictus grin and outstretched arms, entreating you to come on in and eat some greasy birds. The years would see them dressed in all manner of costumes, like a weird uncle visiting for a very specific special occasion, and the statues themselves made a number of video game and anime appearances. Here's a quick throwaway joke in Dragon Ball Z in which a familiar statue is hoisted into the air with the rest of the city's population and detritus. Phantasy Star Portable has a Colonel Sanders statue that you can use to decorate your room as part of a promotional deal, and you can visit in-game KFC stores to stock up on healing items and weapons, lending precious insight into Japan's view on American gun control. He'll even join you in glorious combat against space lizards or whatever, claiming to be traveling the world to provide delicious chicken between sessions of clubbing wolves with his cane. The whale boss in Harmful Park vomits trash and other ocean detritus at you as a weapon, including statues of the Colonel. Damn, I sincerely hope there are not that many of these things in the ocean. Sonic Adventure has a copyright-safe, mercifully non-furry statue of some Colonel adjacent that can be picked up. This prompts an onlooker to warn you not to throw his ungainly ass into a river. Hey, kid, why? Why would you suggest that? Why would you have to tell somebody not to? Why would anybody want to do that? What the hell is it with these things falling in the water? I mean, twice is a coincidence, thrice is a pattern. But the Colonel, as you'll soon see, is a pandemic. On the 2nd of November in 1985, the Hanshin Tigers baseball team won the final game of the Japan series. Considering how bad the team typically was, this victory spurred fans to break into a confusing celebration of singing songs about each player and then having a look-alike from the crowd of fans leap from a bridge into the Dotonbori River below. Lacking a suitable paleface to represent American player and now Oklahoma Senator Randy Bass, fans did the next best thing and absconded with a nearby Colonel Sanders statue and pitched it to a watery grave. The tigers have sucked ever since, and the Colonel's image has shifted from that of a cheerful Santa Claus analog to one of an angry god. Japanese baseball fans decided to ignore the fact that the Tigers sucked even before their fluke victory, and that they must logically be cursed by the vengeful spirit of Colonel Sanders, who died about 5 years prior in 1980. Efforts have been made to recover the statue from the river, but the left hand and glasses are still missing, and the Tigers are still presumed cursed. To make matters worse, Japan beat Tunisia in the 2002 FIFA World Cup, and fans immediately rushed out to celebrate their victory by tracking down another Colonel Sanders statue and cutting off its hands in an apparent tasteless mockery of Sharia law. What the fuck? Why would you do that, guys? That's not cool at all. All those digital statues getting tossed into the river in Sonic Adventure might easily explain why Sonic teams spent the next 15 years perpetrating some of the worst war crimes out of Japan since Unit 731. Mistreatment of the statues could be the root cause behind cameos such as Colonel Sanders statues being found buried under trash in a junkyard in the anime Higurashi, although it is still looked upon somewhat favorably. This is still better treatment than its appearance in Silver Spoon. The character mistakes its outstretched hand for that of a half-buried corpse reaching out for help. Perhaps these images are an allegory for the corruption and degradation of the capitalist West invading Japanese culture. Trouble Planet's beloved trio The Punch features one such statue as a boss. After taking a couple of hits, it breaks open to reveal that it was being piloted by a purple bird creature that then attacks you with fried drumsticks. Because of course it does. Possibly most perplexing is a white-haired southern gentleman who enlists the protagonist of the game Killer is Dead for a mission to fight and kill a giant mutated engineer. After brutally sawing its head off, a tiny planet Earth is retrieved from its enormous corpse. Your client then arrives to take the planet back as part of the contract and... Well, that happens. Not content to let Japan be the only ones to bastardize the long-dead restaurateur, the weird mythos of Colonel Sanders has recurred to infect American culture as of late. In 2015, at the request of absolutely no one, KFC started running ads with Daryl Hammond playing Colonel Sanders, risen from the grave to shield chicken once more. Subsequent ads would give the role to the likes of Norm Macdonald, Jim Gaffigan, Billy Zane, Ray Liotta, and recently, Reba McEntire. DC Comics has a line of issues that dive into a Colonel Sanders multiverse where he punches an evil version of himself, he chats with the Green Lantern about stretching the tenebrous tentacles of his chicken empire across the span of the universe, and generally just goes crusading around with a Lady Flash, some future or cyber Sanders, an inexplicably white-haired child Sanders, and... wow. That seems to be in incredibly poor taste. The first episode of Community that I ever watched featured a dilapidated KFC-themed educational space shuttle simulator. In a fit of acute claustrophobia and quick onset cabin fever, Pierce is tormented by the mentally projected phantasm of the ship's AI, Sanders. So convinced is he of his imminent death that Pierce cries collusion and tries to strangle Donald Glover to earn his freedom. Much like the KFC promotional crossover with Phantasy Star Portable, the fast food chain would once again lend the likeness of their founder for the sake of a buck in 2016 with the WWE. Wrestler Dolph Ziggler donned the Colonel's white suit and tastelessly showed you how your chicken is made. Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels have also donned the Kentucky Fried Mantle, and the joke has gone so far that Colonel Sanders has been confirmed as a playable character in WWE 2K18. Colonel Mania may have reached a fever pitch when Sanders was written into an episode of General Hospital in 2018. The plot being that he is now targeted by some faceless crime syndicate who wants to assassinate him in an attempt to steal his secret chicken recipe.
There's a computer language Spinelli doesn't know.
Fortunately, I picked up just enough of it to disarm the destruct sequence.
Also, he's now some sort of computer hacker and EOD specialist.
I was once cursed by a warlock, and amongst other things, I can see right into the soul of a person.
And also, what?
I was once cursed by a warlock.
What?
Cursed by a warlock.
Are you fucking...
I can see right into the soul of a person.
What?
Right into the soul.
It would seem that the permanent grin on an old man who just liked cooking chicken for people has become little more than a dollar sign in the eyes of marketing executives here in the homeland of Colonel Sanders. In his heyday, he was a hard-working entrepreneur who lost it all multiple times and still refused to quit. He lost several jobs to fistfights, including his law career when an argument with his own client erupted into a slugfest in the courtroom. He survived a shootout with a competitor while running his first restaurant, getting one of his employees killed in the process and sending that competitor off to jail, which left Sanders able to operate unopposed. Now that's the kind of hard work and dedication that I can get behind. Just like all the hard work that we're putting into this first episode of Maximum Bad for you. And for all that hard work, I think it's time for a little reward. What the fuck? He also slept in his car while trying to franchise his chicken at the age of 65, and was notoriously angry and foul-mouthed when restaurants deviated from his recipe. He was known to regularly throw their offerings on the floor and berate the staff. Perhaps the Japanese were aware of Colonel Sanders' inner essence and knew that defacing his statue was surely invoking the wrath of a vengeful spirit. Every twisted parody of his character serves as a reminder that disrespect to the king of KFC threatens to deepen the fury of an already angry god. Rise, my colonel.
Tell me, boy, what of the new offerings from my restaurant?
The chicken is not great. Overall, still pretty bad.
Damnation! I will visit hell on them for endless centuries for ruining my good name. Go on then, what of your other task?
The deed is done. Even though they knew about the blood hex, they still spent every last quarter. They almost seemed like they were in a hurry to do it. It was weird. Just kind of fucked up.
Excellent work. Unlike the goddamn slop they're serving in my restaurant, the anguished screams of these two souls will be, finger-licking good. Yes, sir.
Well, that was an interesting rabbit hole to go diving down, and I hope that you enjoyed watching the video as much as we enjoyed making it for you. This is the sort of project that Trouble Planet has wanted to make for a long time, and it is phenomenal to finally be able to say that it's done. We put a lot of time and effort into this video, and we did have to get some help to give it the polish that we felt that this video needed. But before you go clicking off the video, I'll save us all some time and just say that the relevant information and links are going to be down in the description, so you can check it all out there. I'm sure many of you watched that last scene with the floating Colonel Sanders head and you asked yourself, what the fuck is this all about? Well, wonder no longer. Somewhere around here there are going to be video links to our other show, Mom Can I Have Another $1? And it'll make a little bit more sense how that all tied together. If you liked the video, click the like button, that's what it's there for, or you can join in the time-honored internet tradition of going down into the comments and telling us all the parts that we fucked up. But whatever you choose to do, I just want to thank you for making it this far. I have been Nick from Trouble Planet, and this has been Maximum Bad. What the fuck is this? Oh, fuck. That's not a joke. That's actually just hard to choke down. Fuck. Yeah. It's like trying to swallow insulation. Thick chunks of foam. Sweet Satan. Ugh.